do, they are just little snippets of my daily routine. I just realised I've forgotten to put on my, what's it called, microphone, but at least we're at home so you'll be able to hear me. So that is part of my daily routine. I'm going to not cheat, and I'm going to show you everything now as it loads, but I'm going to talk first as we go. So I wake up, I go to the toilet, I weigh myself, I go downstairs, I do some things as you've just seen, making coffee, get my water ready for the day. If you want your body weight to be consistent in terms of the way in which it's tracking up and the way in which it's trending down, you need to stay on top of your salt and water intake. Do I think that that's an absolute necessity for someone who doesn't want to compete? Absolutely not. But if you are a competitor and you take it extremely seriously, that is something that you do need to make sure that you do every single day. Keep away our salt into a little pot, as I've shown on previous videos. I'll even show it as I'm distributing later. And the water I get ready on the side for both of us. Mine has an M on it, Cooper's has no label on it, so that we know exactly how much water intake is actually going through at the moment. When it comes to being a non-competitor, you probably want to make sure that you're having enough, but kind of having the right amount at the same amount of time, etc. Is that a real necessity for you to be able to look great? Absolutely not. And then obviously I get some of the food prepared ready. Cooper's doing some of his bits now. And then the next little part for me, I'm going upstairs, making sure that I have tidied all of the bedrooms, including the bed, which allows me to be able to get some steps in. So when people tell me that they can't get steps in, even from not moving from their house, I just don't believe them, because right now I'm on a 99 activity score. I woke up 30 minutes ago at 5:40 and it is now 6:15, so just under that, and I had done 1,000 steps. So stop telling yourself that you can't do things. Make place for or make time for things. Make place for things. Make yourself a routine, regardless of whether you're a full-time worker working for someone else, whether you're a shift worker, whether you're someone who works for yourself and you can be based at home or your own office, etc., where you're in control of your own time. You can create a routine. They might need to be different day to day. They might need to be different on a training day with a work day, or a work day with a rest day, or a rest day with a non-work day, etc. That is fine. Make a routine, stick to it, and you'll be able to get everything done. You'll stay more productive, and you will be on top of your shit. Anyway, it is time to do some work. As you can see, some client stuff on the screen. For GDPR, we cannot show you everything. Obviously, it's Saturday. I don't have full check-ins on Saturday, but this is the day that I use to get new people set up. Obviously, clients also sent form clips. I've still got some clients that kind of 6 to 8 weeks per show that are still checking in regularly. So I do have them doing mini check-ins at the moment so that we can keep good communication. I think that's key per show to be able to nail it. If obviously you do want to make sure that you can get through that first one all okay, or maybe your second or third one, depending on when it is that you've come to me and you've maybe potentially had a bad one before, so that hopefully in the future you know some little tricks and tips that are going to help you A, get back your mental function well, A, physical function, B, hormonal function, and just make some ridiculous progress in the off season, because until you've recovered from a comp, you're not making progress. So you need to make sure that you are recovering first through the means of a good reverse before you do start progression in an off season. Otherwise, this is when we tend to find that people don't make the progress that they need because they've not been able to recover properly, not got their bodies back into a good place, including their mental, including their physical, where they're not able to train, or maybe even their kind of motivation to train is low. That is usually, if they're a competitor and they've come from a show, it's because of a bad reverse. Whether that be that they've actually had the support and choose not to take it on is down to them. But there are some small little tips and trips, and if you want to know a little bit more, feel free to fire away. So after I finished some work, we head out for our walk. It's still snowy here in the UK, which is lovely, jubbly. I love a bit of snow. It's my version of sunshine for most, because I feel happier when the snow is about. But that's what we do. We're literally at 8 o'clock here, and I have done 2,500 steps with being in the house, doing my jobs in the house, and also from going for a 35 to 45 minute walk, which the majority of people can do. When I was working full time, what I used to do was park my car, if I was travelling in my car, the furthest away from the building as possible, so that means that I had to get some steps. During the day when I was working, I would go to the furthest away toilet. When I was working, I would go to the furthest away printer, furthest away water fountain, things like that. All these little things help you to get the steps in that you need to get in, because a good level of expenditure and neat will always keep your ticker, your heart, in a good spot, as well as obviously keeping and helping with body composition as well. So if you want to make excuses, make excuses. If you want to get it done, get it done. Right, so we are going to have meal one, which is obviously today pre-workout meal. Usually I train after 3 meals, so obviously my meal order is going to be a bit different. Meal 1 and 2 will be pre and post. Always I will adjust my meals to make sure that my pre and post stays pre and post. The rest of the meals will literally just be in then the same order, but just a little bit later on in the day as they would usually run. So we've got my normal pre-workout kind of protein, which is 125 grams worth of raw weight turkey, as well as 75 grams worth of mixed veggies, all for those micronutrients and gut health. And then we've got here 100 grams of cream of rice. Usually I would only have 100 grams of actual rice, but I don't really fancy normal rice for breakfast. Cuba, maybe he's a bit more hardcore than me, he loves that. But maybe I'm not hardcore enough, so we're going with cream of rice. And as you saw earlier, we've got the Train by JP apple pie. Use my code MEG10 to be able to get discount off on that. This is my usual fruits pre-training, so my 100 grams of pineapple. And usually I have my berries with my eggs, but because I'm training a little bit earlier, I need a tiny little bit more food to fuel my session, especially with it being glutes, which is a big day for me. So we've got them in my pre-workout bowl. And I'm gonna eat it, but I don't like you watching me eat it. I'm gonna eat it. Oh my god. You watching me? Oh, maybe he's still filming me because he wants me to say this was beautifully made by Mr. Cooper. Thank you very much. He always makes my meal one on a training day. Meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 5. Post-workout meal.
Why do you put them all in the book?
Yeah, who makes them?
You, because you make them better than me.
Wow.
Myself weighed out all evenly for the day that I distribute across all my meals.
So, as you can see, I am in my car. I have not done filming whilst I've been driving because I'm a good girl. And the amount of times I've been told off on my YouTube for driving whilst filming is insane. I promise I'm always looking at the road and I would never do anything to stop myself being aware. But because some people don't like it, I've chosen not to do it. Anyway, I am in for glutes. The reason I'm going in a little bit earlier is because I'm going to do some filming today for the MK Empower program, allowing the guys on the actual course / transformation challenge that is going to be 12 weeks long. It's going to be starting on the 1st of April. It's going to be about body transformation. It's going to be about getting in shape, but then also having the education, which I am filming today, to be able to actually sustain that for the rest of their life. Obviously, it is a choice as to whether people take that on or not, or whether they just choose to get in shape for the 12 weeks. But the thing I hate about the industry are transformation challenges that have no support or guidance given for post the actual transformation. Plus, I hate when plans aren't individualized. So each plan will be individualized because it needs to be for that person, for it to fit their life, etc. It's not just about, oh, just get it done, because that is not sustainable. So education is going to be filmed to help them sustain it and how to sustain it, things they might come up against in terms of obstacles, how to overcome them, etc. So if you want to get involved and join in, please either DM me or email me. My Instagram, my email are all linked in the description below. And if you have any questions or have anything that you would like to say, please comment below in the comment box so that we can make sure that you get everything and anything that you need, especially if you want to A, just get some support, or B, want to join in the Empower program. Again, 12-week challenge that will start on the 1st of April. You will be able to get a photo shoot at the end of it to show your transformation. And if you do win, you will be in the chance to win a cash prize. The best gym in the UK, UltraFlex or Rotherham, get involved. So, the first tip to getting strong, you need to have a midsection that's tight, that can brace effectively. That's why doing core work, like hanging leg raises, is super beneficial to your training, which is why I do it prior to every session. Okay, so set number 1 is going to be 5 plates aside on the hip thrust. So we're going to aim to get 8 or above, which means that I will match or improve from last session, which is super important. During my sessions, I have my carbs, then I have my protein, and then I'll continue with my carbs. My carbs at the moment is the Performance Fuel Pina Colada from Trained by JP Nutrition. Again, Meg 10 if you want discount off on any health supplements, or protein, or intra-workout aminos, etc. Get involved for the best supplements on the market. Let's go. Completely out the way. So exercise number 2 is split squats. I'm able to do this able to do this exercise for my whole leg. So my knee will topple over my toes, meaning that I will lose some quad, but I will aim to keep my hip under at the bottom to create as much stretch as possible through my glute to make sure that my glute is still getting a lot of work as well. Obviously you're going to get a little bit adducts with this too, which is fine. I'm not concerned about my quads or my adducts going a little bit, so all good for me. If you're a bikini competitor and you want to make it as good focused as possible, a contralateral split squat will probably be better than just a normal split squat.
if you want to build overall mass and then just put an edge of specificity on it, you can basically do what I'm doing. The best things you can do in a split squat to make sure that you can stay strapped in properly and strong is using the straps. These are the premium suede long leather-ish wrist straps from Hardbody. Use my code MEG to be able to get your discount off. But I would always use these on anything where I'm holding or pulling, because otherwise my fingers and hands are going to give up before my actual muscle, and my goal is to get big, not to have amazing wrist strength or grip strength or finger strength. So that is why I'm using that. Definitely do it for you. Here we are aiming to get a nice little pause in the hole before we drive up. Put it in to get about 12, 13 reps so that we can beat the last seconds log up. We've got the hip band in RDL. The reason we use the band at the hip is because then at the top it creates for it to be a complete glute movement, with obviously having a little bit of resistance and force there. Otherwise, without it, you do not have it, so it is not a complete glute movement. However, it is still very good in the stretch position. For the glutes, obviously I'm doing this over an SLDL because an SLDL will use hammies more than glutes. I need glutes more than hammies, even though both can definitely come up. So here we're keeping the shoulder blades back, chin in a nice position, tummy tight, aim to keeping the back nice and flat, aiming to just move the hips and back to create the movement, not dipping the chest up and down. The reason we keep a slight little bend in the knee is to be able to keep more tension in the glutes. That's why as a stiff leg, so an SLDL, you'll use more hammies. Anyway, onto the set. halfway through my session, I have my MPS, which is my protein serving EAAs for other brands other than just Trained by JP, but the best one is the MPS Max. I've got the peach flavour here, I've got 25 grams. That means that my protein serving from my first meal to my post-workout meal will be halfway between to keep my MPS spiked throughout the day for optimal recovery and the best gains. So, leg press. My leg press was high and narrow for glutes, but I'm going to go through different stances here. So, as we saw, mine was a leg press for glutes, which would mean you'd have your feet high enough that when you get full range of motion, so knees all the way into your body, that you have your knees around about 90 degrees, if not just a little bit deeper, but still keeping those shins nice and vertical. So for me, that will be here, making sure that your hips stay at shoulder width, not narrower. Just because it says narrowed doesn't mean that it needs to be shoulder width, just means that it needs to be at hip width. So you're bringing your knees all the way in. I actually find it easier when there's actually weight on there, so that my shins are still nice and vertical to my feet, but my knees are kind of at 90, if not just a little bit kind of deeper than that. If you want to do adductor focused, you'd have your feet on a similar line, if not just a tiny little bit lower, but you take them a little bit further apart, and you turn them out, and you want to make sure that your knees are always tracking over your big toe, much like what they were on my leg press. For glute focused, adductor focus, because the toes are slightly turned out, the knees will slightly turn out and come down nice and deep. Obviously we'd be able to get deeper than that, but the actual machine is stopping here. And then you want to go for quad focus, which would be as low as you can possibly go, making sure that your knees are travelling over your toes for knee flexion, for nice glute focus press. Again, I could get better range if I was on a different leg press, but that's the different stances. If you don't have anything specified, you'd go for a power stance, so something that's most comfortable for you. So mine would be between kind of the adductor and quad, so it'd be about here, so that I can really get to work on my movements, making sure that you always have a nice low eccentric, a nice micro pose at the bottom, and a nice fire back up, making sure that the seat's all the way back if you've got one that actually manoeuvres, that you can get full range of motion, keeping your tummy tight, holding on super tight, bracing really tight with your core, especially at the bottom. I feel like that could be a podcast introduction. Anyway, here we are in the podcast room because we've got the content filming for the education stuff, the MK Power, MK Empower Transformation Challenge. So, I'm going to have my post-workout meal first, which is 40 grams of whey. This is the caramel biscuit Trained by JP, 40 grams. I've got 150 grams worth of strawberries. I've got 115 grams worth of cream of rice. Again, there's a mixture between the apple pie and the sticky toffee pudding, because I like a little bit of a mixture, and they're the two that are open, so that's why I've got that. And then I've got a little bit of cereals on top to make it up to 125 grams. I like a little bit of, what's the word? Texture to my foods sometimes, so a little bit of cereal gives it a little bit of a crunch, which is sometimes quite nice, especially when foods are a little bit higher. Having that little bit of differentiating instead of it just all being kind of cream of rice it really helps with my appetite, because not that my appetite's low or anything, but I'm quite a few weeks past my competition now, and obviously foods aren't low, so it will always be good to make sure that appetite stays good, which is why I don't eat a lot off plan, and also why I ensure that kind of my foods are made nice and it's foods that I enjoy, to make sure that obviously appetite can stay as good as possible. And I honestly don't really have any cravings. Like, all of my food focus, hunger signaling, etc., was probably gone from about 6 weeks per show, but it does take that little bit of time, especially till you kind of regain your cycle as a female. That first one kind of hits hard, and then kind of cravings and stuff, you're just kind of used to it because you know what to expect in those different phases within your actual period month. Anyway, I'm going to eat this now. One thing I actually get questioned about with one of my clients earlier is, am I making progress if you've not made any changes to my food in the last kind of 5 weeks? Yeah, 100%. If your body weight's tracking up, it's not all about just adding foods for adding food's sake. If body weight's traveling up, why do you need to add more food? If you're constantly adding more food on top of your body weight already going up, you're just going to get fat. And getting fat is probably one of the biggest things that will hinder your progress. So super important that you keep on top of that. Anyway, I'm going to eat this now in peace, so we'll be back in a minute.
Team MK Empower Education Series, we are now on video 10, where we're going to talk about understanding how to deal with emotional eating / binge eating. I'm not a true professional when it comes to eating disorders, and if you are someone who truly struggles with an eating disorder, anorexia, binge eating, things like that, you may want that comfort when something emotional happens and you feel sad, or you feel lonely, or you feel overwhelmed. Sometimes people want to eat into those again to gain that comfort, or some people on the other side of the coin want to drink it. So they...
We will work around that, don't worry. Don't ever think that I'm going to give you something that's unmanageable. Yeah, if it ever does. Yeah, but the thing is, if it doesn't do, you know, if it just feels a little bit too, oh, it's not sustainable, you need to tell me, because at the end of the day, the way that you're going to be able to sustain it is if it's actually manageable for your life and it fits pretty well. Like, if you like to go out for a steak dinner on a weekend and that's something that you do with your family, like, you need to let me know. Yeah. Be sure to have good UltraFlex as well, or... Okay. Oh, right, yeah, easy. Tell him I'll not tell Cobra. I'm just kidding. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, a lot of travelling. Yeah, yeah. Whereas, as much as we can do that with UltraFlex, you're very capped because there's not a lot of gyms or places that actually have an actual UltraFlex. Nothing. Yeah. Especially right at the top. Oh, blink it really far. Yeah, 100%. Bless him. Yeah. Oh, amazing. Has he competed before? And he's not bothered about it either. Okay, right, look, it's cool that he has a coach though. Jack's a good guy, really good guy. Yeah, I get on with him really well. He's a really good guy. Boy, I'm sad that he's moved, to be fair. Well, there's no gun to him anymore at 2 o'clock. Well, I'm saying that all day because he used to be there all day. definitely got his money's worth. That's what we used to say. I know he's got a lot of problems with it. He's a lovely guy. Amazing. I think it's super cool that you both have a coach and want to, I don't know, progress your life even though you've got kids and stuff. I think it's nice. Health-wise. Yeah, no, my mum's the same. She's sent herself into early menopause and she's got diabetes all because she eats incredibly bad, but she's been brought up in that environment of, well, not eating until you'd be sick, but let's have a biscuit challenge, etc. You know what they're like, Yorkshire families. Oh, even worse. Lots of drinking both parts. Have that quality of life, yeah, yeah. Oh,
So as you've just seen, I have just been at the gym doing my education series for the Empower program. Again, if you would like to join our transformation challenge, drop a comment below, DM me, or email me. Obviously my email is in the comment section below. So I'm basically having breakfast for dinner is essentially what I'm having. So, well, it's not actually late, it's just very dark in the UK. So here we have my meal 1 that I'm having now as my meal 4, I think. So we've got 225 grams of egg whites, 100 grams of veg, 2 eggs, 150 grams worth of sourdough, 5 grams of ghee, 10 grams of some sauce on here, and then I've got some of my salt that Cooper had popped in a little pot for me. So I'm going to eat that. Usually I would have 100 grams of blueberries in the morning, but as I said this morning, I obviously had those prior to the gym just to give me that extra little bit of calories, especially because it is a big session and I usually do train a little bit later anyway. So good session, good education slash filming afternoon. I've just had 2 people speak to me about coaching as well, so that's all good and full systems go. Gonna eat my meal, watch a little bit of, I don't know yet, I think I'm gonna watch a podcast, even though I normally don't watch a lot of bodybuilding podcasts, and then we'll be back later for some more eating. Obviously the rest of the day is just going to be working, eating, and getting myself chilled out, ready for bedtime. Obviously, yeah, I missed my actual meal 3 to show you, which was 125 grams of venison, 225 grams of potatoes, and 100 grams of veggies with 100 grams of
Quick change. I'm cheap trained by JP with ASOS. This is my comfy top. Anyway, I am going to heat up my meal 5, but this is how I make it taste nice and enjoyable just by a few simple steps. So I make some of my water for the day, put on the pan. I think I've put a little bit too much, but it doesn't matter, it's fine, it'll simmer away. And then all of my meal is in here with some seasoning on, and I simply just pop it into the pan. Oh, definitely just lost a bit of avocado there, it's gone running about. Pop it back in there. Don't want to be losing them grams. And then we just pour it in, let it sit, and it turns it into almost like a little sauce with the seasonings, water, meat, well, fish, veg, and avocado, and I think I said rice, but I'm going to say anything else. So I'll show you the end product. All of the seasonings that we use are minimal sugar, minimal salt, to make sure obviously our salt can stay tip top for the day and we're not over salting. Sometimes when you over salt, it can really affect your digestion, it can affect your electrolyte balance, so you can actually end up getting cramping if you don't salt enough. Sometimes it can either make you not be able to get a pump if you don't salt enough, or if you over salt, etc. So it's very important you get it right for you, and you'll know, and your coach will know as you obviously work through together if you need to increase it a little bit as well. So yeah, that is why we do over salt, so that we know exactly how much. So yeah, is going in our body's poo.
Last meal, we've got 200 grams of phage yogurt with a little bit of cinnamon and 50 grams worth of raspberries in there. I split out my raspberries between, not my raspberries, my berries, between my yogurt and my whey meal, just so that, as we said earlier, I like a little bit of texture with my meals, so it just gives a little bit of texture. Plus it's nice to have a little bit of berries in yogurt. It's something sweet to finish your day on, and this is my only sweet meal on it. I have my post-workout meal that is sweet as well. And then, but on my rest days, my last meal is my only sweet meal for the day. I don't like too many sweet meals. I do prefer savoury foods, especially eggs and bread. Eggs and bread is my favourite meal of the day. If I could have that 6 times per day, I would. Yeah, but sometimes I don't actually sweeten them. Because I'm strange like that, and then I put my chocolate on top of my rice. And then I've got 50 grams of oats, 50 grams of cream of rice. This is the sticky toffee pudding one from Trained by JP. Use my code MEG10 to get money off. And then we've got the performance protein in chocolate orange, and I've got it sat here, you know, product placement and all that. Obviously I made it into a little paste. If you want the perfect paste, 10 grams less of water to your amount of whey, and it will come out just perfect. And then the rest of my berries, which is 100 grams worth of strawberries. Hopefully you've enjoyed today. I feel like I've done quite a lot of talking. Well done if you got to this point. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm going to go to bed because I'm definitely tired, and we'll be back for the next one.